Ready.
All right. Amadi Mapani Makodam. This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 29. Yahweh Shai answered them, the first of all commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Shema Yasha'ala, Yahweh Allahayanawa, Yahweh Achad. Aman.
Aman. Okay. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Shalom. I hope everybody's week went well. I've been observing, what's been going on with our people in many different facets, politically, economically, spiritually, and one thing that really hasn't gotten talked about or brushed upon as of yet or recently is where we're at nutrition wise and diet wise. Our people suffer from many different ailments physically, and it's due to negligence of proper nutrition. And really, I was watching a podcast the other day, and a lot of people they make physical activities more than what it's supposed to be. It was one, I believe it was one nutritionist, one physical therapist, and I forgot the other doctor. But basically they were saying it's not even about, going to the gym, lifting weights. If you can get there, get there, walking. It's just about constant movement, literally, not being stationary for long periods of time. Of course you get rest, what I'm saying. Proper rest is also important for your mind, your mental health, your body, things of that like that. But just constant movement, getting up, walking, going up the stairs if you have stairs in your home, putting things away, just constant movement is really good for the body. It works the lymphs, your lymphatic systems. It helps you to digest properly. It helps you to think clearer, so just proper movement. And I think that if people understood, if they moved a little bit more, their health would be a little bit better. I think that will go a long way for a lot of people, because now, what, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, our people was, people was just more outside, it wasn't as much TV, Netflix and there wasn't DoorDash and Uber Eats and, apps and delivery services like that. You'd have to get up and go out. You had to get up and, go knock on your neighbor's door to see if they could come outside, right? People were more adventurous, people walked more, people did things more, even if you needed to borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor, you still have to do what? You have to walk out of your house, go to your neighbor's door and knock. Y'all probably socialize for a little bit, and you take that sugar or that butter or whatever the case may be, salt, saying that you needed in your recipe, and you would walk your behind back home. That's movement. And I don't think people understand the simplicity of movement. Once you start getting movement down, then you gradually advance. But there's an epidemic of, and which we're going to get to. I have articles supporting the matter, but of the younger generation being being basically attacked by an onslaught of diabetes and strokes due to negligence of health and movement, right? And a big factor, which we all can relate to, right, in some way, shape or another, is stress, right? How we manage our stress, how stress weighs down on the body, and what it does to the body, right? If we're not properly managing our stress correctly, you know. But you know, th- and when you think about who we are, right? One thing that I want to point out is, here in Rum, right, Rum Gadal Gabarium, right, high exalted warriors, um, you know, it's part of our curriculum, of course. Come Passover, and it's going to be elaborated much more deeper, but you know, people have looked at the way we do things as militant and a little bit extreme to a degree, right? But it's only because we care about one another, we care about our brothers and our sisters, and you know, as to why we have things within our curriculum, such as martial arts of different sorts and training, right? Being disciplined. Um, it's not a coincidence that in these times, basically, to survive, you need to work out.
Right.
Like, just to keep yourself from your body breaking down, you need to develop a habit of exercising, right? Um, with all the chemicals in the air, and right now, most of us, we're overworked and underpaid, right? Inflation, we talk about it all the time. Inflation with the food, it's wild,
Especially with the amount of eggs you can take now, they got the signs up.
Yeah. That's crazy. Being stingy on that.
So a pack of eggs is $8 to $9. I'm like,
Yo, like they're putting, come on, like you're rationing out eggs, and how much they're paid is, is going, the price is going through the roof just for the simple things that we used to buy. I just never forget, like, when I was younger, when I was a child, like $100 used to really fill up like like the whole trunk. The whole trunk, yo. Like I remember that vividly, you know. And now, $100 really is only buying you like a few things, you know. And it's a struggle too, because why? When you're trying to balance your diet, right? Because I'm not here to say, yo, we should be eating vegetables and plants. Nah, eh, that's one thing that's tricky about nutrition. It's different for every man and woman. The same thing that might work for me is not going to work for Barack, and vice versa.
Okay.
There's a certain meal plan that you should get on if you're healing from something, but diet is a whole different ball game. In the scriptures, the Lord deals with duality,
Mhm.
right? It's about being balanced. It's not too much of this, it's not too much of that. It tells you herbs make you weak. It tells you too much meats give you choler, which means irritability, right? And when it comes to digestion, it's about being balanced, right? And that's something that we understood as a people, right? We had, even the richest of us, we wasn't slaughtering meat every single day, right? But we did it enough. We wasn't excessive in the things that we were doing. There's it talks about excess, anything in the scriptures, excess wine, excess meat, excess herbs. So it's about being balanced in everything that we do, and you can only know what works good for you. You have to constantly be testing out different diets and meal plans for yourself. Like I found for myself that you know I can't eat more than 2 times a day. I'm really good with once,
Oh,
but if I'm really hungry, I'll do 2 times a day. I cannot eat any more than that. I'm really good with snacking too. Like I don't have to snack. I'm not really a snacker like that. Um, but I have to take a lot of fluids, right? Fluids, because if I don't drink enough water, I usually put Celtic salt in my water, then I end up getting a headache. So I know that my body needs to stay properly hydrated, right? So I've learned my body over time through doing many different diets, from being a vegan to doing just proteins for, I believe I did it for 2 months, to eating one meal a day, to at one point in time when I was 225, I was eating 4 times a day, just to bulk up. Um, you know, I've done many different diets, a pescatarian, vegetarian. I'm at the point where I understand what my body needs, right? And I've done that through trial and error, and I also understand a little bit about um, what herbs work better for me when, like, I'm feeling ill, if I have a cold or something like that. Um, so, and oh yeah, the other thing is, you know, we're in a time where stress is at an all-time high, and a lot of us don't have healthy forms of um, managing stress. And so some of us will go to the bottle. Some of us, uh, will go on social media and maybe look at inappropriate things. Some of us will, cope with these our stress in a negative manner,
or overthinking is another one I've looked into.
right? Or overthink. But one thing that I suggest um, is find a way to pour back into yourself, to give to yourself, right? Or adopt meditation habits. And meditation could go is a large spectrum of meditation and how you can apply meditation, right? I'm not telling you to be on some Buddha type of meditation where you have your legs crossed, you know what I'm saying, and you think that you're gonna be floating on a carpet like Aladdin, right? I'm saying, like, clearing your mind, taking time to, if you can, right? Some of us have big families, maybe going outside for 5 minutes or 10 minutes if you have a spouse, you know what I'm saying? And just, uh, or, and just clearing your mind, or writing down in a journal your experiences for the day, right? Playing some jazz, uh, Epsom salt, right? So another thing, Epsom salt, a lot of people don't know that Epsom salt is really magnesium. And for those who didn't know about magnesium, it's good for you to ingest magnesium by way of tablets or by way of water or drinking. But really, the best way to take magnesium is topically. So Epsom salt, a lot of people don't know, but that's a form of magnesium. That's magnesium.
Huh.
So you can literally take an Epsom salt bath. You know, you can rub down, like, if your body aches, you can rub down your feet, you can rub down your back, your hands. You can massage it with, remember, black seed oil.
Oh,
Yeah, Barack is the one who put me onto that black seed oil, right? And so,
wonders.
yeah, it works wonders. You know what I'm saying? It opens up your pores, allows your feet to breathe, right? It helps with the swelling of it, so those are different things you can do. If you're by water or rivers or lakes, it's getting warmer out. You could go sunbathe. You could put your feet in the grass or in the sand.
Right.
It's time for us to start doing things to alleviate and managing the stress that we have in our day-to-day lives, because your mental health and your physical health is extremely important, right? It's to a point where we have to be doing some form of physical activities to be able to survive in this day and age, right? So I just want to say that before we started, right? So we can understand, what this class is going to be about. Okay. Couldn't find my book, but it's all right. Let's get probably gonna start backwards. Job 13:4. Yeah, Bakash, yeah. After salt bath goes in. And real quick, before we actually start reading, how many of us that's online right now do some form of physical activity and some form of martial arts training? Just put a 1 in the chat if you do some form of physical activity, whether it be walking, going to the gym. Come on, we know you get Aki. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Uh, yeah, good.
Praises.
Yeah, because it's extremely important. Movement and exercise. And if you want to stick around, right? One of the videos that I have, one of the videos that I'm gonna be showing. Word. Okay, then I saw. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong with that.
New York native. Them blocks is long. So God, that's what's up. I saw it.
You had mentioned something earlier I wanted to speak on.
Go ahead.
Because when I lived back with my father, I actually used to take walks around the block. And when I read up on walking, the longer you walk, especially pertaining to the distance, or like say it's like a treadmill, like each lap is a point quarter of a mile. The more you do it, you slash your rate of getting cardiovascular diseases and illnesses from 1/3 to 2/3 of how long you're doing it. And you
From
mentioned
1/3 to 2/3.
and you mentioned the weather getting better. So if you're in the sun, you're sweating, and it can, like she said, it can even be walking.
Yeah.
You're literally cutting down the rates of you possibly getting any kind of illness when it comes to cardiovascular diseases, and that's the number one killer in America today.
And I shared this story before. This lady at my job, last summer, in just a couple of months, all she did was walk. She lost 33 pounds.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
33 pounds just walking. Changed up her diet a little bit, and she just walked. Like, you don't have to go crazy when it comes to exercising. One of the podcasts that I'm gonna be bringing up, the lady, she talks about plastics, and she says it's not even at this point. It's not even about if you have plastic in you. It's about how much you have in you.
Right.
You got to think about this. The body does not understand or know how to digest plastic. Your body was made to digest food and remove waste and toxins. But plastic being built up in you, how does the body get rid of that? Right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh my. Job 13:4. right?
This is Job chapter 13 and verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value.
So ye are forgers of lies and physicians. So nowadays, right, with all the extensive amount of research that we have on how people get diabetic or insulin resistance or pre-diabetic or diabetes type 2, right? Strokes, all types of diseases. You go to your modern day physician and which also causes inflammation in the body. Yep, Makaya, absolutely. Right? And you do store toxins in your fat. That's a fact. Which is a segue, which I'm not going to take, but I'm also going to be talking about fasting. So thank you for that, Makaya. But you go to I was watching a podcast the other day with Dame Dash and Irv Gotti's brother, and a few physicians was on there, and Dame Dash is the one giving information on diabetes and strokes, and they're asking the physician, what things, how do we detect um uh, uh you know strokes if somebody's about to have a stroke, and how can we you know um uh cut down the amount of people that are getting diabetes, and it's almost like the physician was dancing around the issue. But when Dame Dash, he was talking about the everybody's nutrition and diet and exercising, he's the physician was saying, oh, we need a little bit more research. There's not as much research that's out. You're talking about decades at this point of research that's been shown, the books that's out, the articles that's been written, the scientific facts that's been proven.
Right.
There's not enough research, right? So that's a testament to how these physicians they are of no value, right? If you see there's an issue within the nation, and of course we understand they don't care about our people, but I'm just saying this, right? So if you see that there's an issue within the nation and there's a onslaught of cases arising with diabetes, strokes, heart failure, kidney failure, right? All these things, and there's been research to show that stress, nutrition and dieting and exercising could help reduce or cut down this epidemic that's happening. You know, wouldn't you inform the people on these things? No.
Right.
Instead, you want to dance around the issue,
Right.
and act like there's not enough research that's out there when there's extensive amount of research. Right?
It's like Makaya
Right.
said, doctors don't learn enough about nutrition to help anyone, and they want to medicate you to keep you sick and their business going. And I remember the book when we read it that one class a couple years back. I was listening to a podcast as well, and a medical doctor was actually saying they don't teach
Nutrition.
anything about nutrition when
Right.
it comes to medical school at all, to keep medications and how they do it today with this modernization of helping people or treating people instead of curing people, to keep their system going instead of actually doing it through diet.
Right. When your medical system becomes all about business, that's when you fail the people. And it's crazy because, like, even this is how you know it's bad. Even Edomites are questioning their own medical system within the United States.
Oh.
They can't trust, I gotta say this carefully. They can't trust different categories when it comes to getting the jab, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're questioning that. They're questioning physicians because they don't understand. Think about it. It's for you to have a family physician. This is somebody that you gotta trust. They have your medical records. They have your family's medical records. They have your medical history, right? This is somebody you want to go to be able to talk to about ways for you to have a better life, a better well-being for you and your family. and the generation that's coming after you, right?
Right.
Not somebody who's just telling you, who really doesn't understand how the mechanisms of the body and how they can help through proper diet and nutrition, right?
Oh.
Because we understand, which I'll kind of work backwards. So with DNA, the beautiful thing about DNA is, this is why we also had classes, many classes. Brothers taught about, Barak taught us Shai, the general, what I'm saying, Gawar, he taught about it, herbs and different minerals. And, brothers have brought out the importance of magnesium, zinc, phosphate, vitamin D3, all these things. And believe it or not, our DNA, when you look at the DNA strand, it has these minerals within the DNA strand that's important for us, for our essential well-being. And when you do not have the proper diet that works well for you, so when because everybody's supposed to be in a homeostasis, right? It's supposed to be balanced, and you could tip to the left or to the right. And so when you're not eating according to how you're supposed to be eating, lined up, right? Aligned, what tends to happen is you have these telomers, which are like the caps of your DNA, right? So you have you have your DNA strand that goes up, right? And then you have caps at the end of it. The more you do not eat with you, come on, man. I'm going there, man. But the more you eat out of line with your body, what ends up happening is the telomers, or the caps of your DNAs, right, that holds it in place, starts to come off, and your DNA starts to unravel. And once your DNA starts to unravel, that's when your body starts to have problems. Okay, that's when your body starts to go into sicknesses and diseases, and you're overwhelming your body with things that it shouldn't have. So you have to get your body back on track. So you may have to abandon your own a diet that keeps you at a balance, and you may have to adopt a diet for healing, right? And that's the issue when you have people like Yaki, and I listen to
Bobby Green's another one.
Benjamite and her.
Bobby Green another one.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I listen to Benjamite and Issacharite holistic doctors, and one thing that people do once they see them being healed from certain ailments is they overindulge, because this diet that was made or tailor made for you to heal from whatever you needed to be healed from, they start to adopt that as a whole lifestyle.
Right.
And what ends up happening is, once you adopt that whole diet as a lifestyle, that's how people start to begin to get malnourished. Okay, they start to get malnourished. So when it comes to vegetarianism, veganism, pescatarianism, then they're gonna be high in mercury. It's all about a balance, And how do you know that? Because you can never. This is something that you don't never have to doubt. This right here. You never have to doubt the word of the Lord. Everything you get from history to doctrine to books, psychiatry books, psychology, whatever you read, whatever you're studying, you always are supposed to filter it through the scriptures. Always. Right? And that the scriptures will always make you right, because it's the word of God. And nothing could go against the word of the Most High. Right? And so the reason why I'm saying that is because if the Most High is telling you you can eat, he created herbs and he created meats, clean meats for you to eat, no man should be able to sway you this way or that way, because there's duality in the scriptures. He's telling you this is what this is for, this is what this is for. You bring them together and you find what works best for you, but it's supposed to be balanced. Is everybody following me? Right, a con.
It was actually some famous influencer. She was an Edomite. I think she was into the fructose, like vegan side of dieting, and she died after being 10 years on the diet because of how malnourished she
She
was.
was, yeah.
And the other, I think it was vitamin B and a couple of other ones she was missing that she really needed, and she died.
Yeah. But vitamin B12, they get malnourished for vitamin B12, certain phosphates. And another thing too is a lot of people don't understand is there's certain things that the first thing people will say, and I'm not bashing really any diet because really it's about being balanced. But one thing that people will say is that, oh, gorillas are strong and they just eat grass, cows and bulls and yo, the Most High made you to be mankind.
Right.
He did not. First of all, you didn't evolve from apes or gorillas.
Right.
That's how he made gorillas and cows. Cows have 3 stomachs to be able to digest what they digest. I remember you brought out a class.
Oh.
The cud that they be chewing. Oh, they chew the cud for like 16 hours.
1,000 times over.
So, yes. You're done. Exactly. You know, so right. And thank you, Kawan. They eat pounds of vegetables and fruits. Right. So, you know, once you understand the duality, that the Lord, then it's on you to understand what works well for your body. Right. So the information that we have, nowadays, it shows over and over again, it's scientifically proven that proper diet, stress management, how well you manage your stress, and proper, I'm just gonna say movement, right? Movement and exercise, right? Um, will allow you to have a better life, well being. Um, when it comes to how we operate on a day to day. Another thing that I want to say is a lot of people don't realize 2 things. I want to say 2 things. Exactly. A lot of people don't know that, Corn. Movement is medicine. That con. Um, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. 2 things. A lot of people, you know, the Lord made it so that way any sickness and disease can be healed. That's for his glory, right? But it's also for his glory that every sickness and disease is not healed. What is Shamak saying? Right? What does that mean? Right? We got to go back to the word. Right? The word, it tells you in the word that what? That he's going to send plagues and we're going to be dying from all manner of what? Sicknesses and diseases. I'm going to get it in Deuteronomy 28 and 59. But before I go there, that's his word going out and not returning to him void or untrue. So that bears witness of what the Lord is saying, right? Not everything is going to be healed. But on the flip side, what also bears witness of him and gives him glory is the fact that sicknesses and diseases can be healed. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Either way, it glorifies the Most High. I just want to, just in case I have to explain it better, I just want to know if everybody's following me. Just write a con if you understand what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Let's get it in Deuteronomy real fast.
28:59.
Because this is what we're dealing with today. Yeah, 28 and 59.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues.
Hold on. He said, and the Lord will do what?
Will make thy plagues wonderful.
He said, I'm going to.
Oh, damn.
He said, it says, and the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful. Yo.
That's because all you think about every time statistics come out, like you just wonder, it's always us that are primarily affected.
Wonderful? How is the plague? The Lord will make thy plagues wonderful. Go ahead.
And the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long
and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues. Right? So the and it's funny because what do we always talk about? We say, yo, Gen Z, the way they're going, that means your estate and your generation and how you are in this generation, it's gonna be worse as the generations go on and on. The diseases and the sicknesses are going to get worse and worse and worse. I remember there was a study just what was it in the 1930s? Not even that long ago. That's about 100 years back.
Right.
In the 1930s, they said that our ancestors, our great grandfathers, great grandfathers, they said that their testosterone was 200% more than ours today.
Makes sense.
Yo, that's off the charts, yo. That's off the charts. It didn't say 100%. They said 200%. I remember that. What you gonna say?
That's why men in boxing could fight 15 rounds and up.
Yep.
Like, bro, you imagine fighting somebody for about an hour? Like, yo, now, man, we're not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was talking with a brother, and I remember when we got on the basketball court, you played a game to 21. There's no stops, no breaks in between, full court. And then whoever wins, loser gets off.
Right.
Next person, we run it back. Now, these generations, they have halftime. Halftime?
Right.
It just shows you that, we're getting weaker and weaker through the generations.
Age, man.
All right. Go ahead.
And the plagues of thy seed, and even great plagues.
Oh, and another thing that I want to say is another reason why it's so important, and I really want to highlight stress management, is because if you don't manage your stress properly or find ways to manage your stress in a healthy way, what it does in your body is it creates the atmosphere for your body to hold diseases, right, and sicknesses. It creates it basically breaks down your body because you start to release chemicals within your body for diseases to be able to attach themselves to you, viruses to attach themselves to you, right? So I just wanted to put that out there.
And the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance.
It says, and of long continuance. Yeah. Go ahead.
And sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Verse 60.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt.
All the diseases of Egypt. Go ahead.
Which thou wast afraid of.
Which you were afraid of. Go ahead.
They shall cleave unto thee.
It gets better. Go ahead.
Verse 61. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law.
Every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of the law. Man, we did a number, man. We did a number. Things that we're suffering today that wasn't even written in the book. tuberculosis, COVID-19. What's that? The Navavirus virus or Navavirus?
Navarre. Yeah, Navarre.
Navavirus.
Yep.
Diabetes 1 and 2.
HIV.
HIV.
Remember the syphilis experiments, and I think you had brought it up and mentioned it. How I read in the medical apartheid book the general had us read. They literally had the cure for it, and it made me wonder and think that if they know, every time you search up a disease or illness, sickness, or something, and they tell you the effects of it and how long it lasts, it opened up my mind to think that when they did that with those Judites for the syphilis experiments and they had the cure and did nothing about it, then that makes you think you've given that to people and experimented with lives to be able to give us that information. And just like how you brought it out in your prior class about Marius Sims and what he was doing to us during slavery. The only reason why you have that knowledge is because you had live subjects that you were torturing and experimenting on in order to be able to do and know that.
Gone. New diseases fresh out the labs, courtesy of Esau. Gone. Yep. The Tuskegee experiment. Yep. Right. Right. So now you have it to where we are facing diseases which weren't even written in the law. Right. And it's getting worse and worse. Our bodies are the youth. Right. I got an article. Working backwards. Side. Apayak. The article that says uchealth.org. Do you mind putting that up on the screen? Baba Kusha. Yo. This is crazy.
This article says strokes in young people, they're occurring more often. Why? Says a concerning trend is raising alarms in the medical community, driving awareness of a significant health risk for younger people, strokes. While the number of strokes in people ages 18 to 45 has been growing at a faster rate nationally than any other age group for the past few decades, the number of young adults having strokes in northern Colorado has doubled over the past few years.
Has doubled over the past few years. 18 to 45?
That's a huge.
Go ahead.
In 2020, about 5% of the people who presented with the stroke at UC Health, Poudre Valley Hospital, and Fort Collins were between the age of 18 and 45, but by July of 2023, it was 9%. All of UC Health's Northern Region hospitals, Medical Center of the Rockies, Long Peaks Hospital, and Greeley Hospital have seen similar increases over the last few years. It's a terrifying trend, said Amanda Warner, UC Health's stroke program manager in Northern Colorado. It begs the question, what is causing more young people to have strokes, the leading cause of long-term disabilities in the United States?
Go down. You gonna go down? Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
So it says Warner and their colleagues, including stroke program.
Stroke in young people.
Okay. Giving down strokes in young people. It says experts have long known that diet and lifestyle contribute significantly to cardiovascular
Read that part again, please.
Experts have long known
that diet and lifestyle
contribute significantly to cardiovascular health. Smoking, excessive drinking, obesity, high blood pressure, also known as hypertension, and high cholesterol are all risk factors for strokes and other cardiovascular diseases. These lifestyle choices and conditions can weaken or damage the arteries, causing clots to form. A stroke occurs if a clot blocks or ruptures the blood vessels carrying oxygen and nutrients to the brain.
Which is our conduit system, right?
Ischemic strokes caused by a blocked vessel account for about 87% of all strokes and 60% in people under 50 in the United States.
That's alarming. Go ahead.
That's a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Although the majority of ischemic or hemorrhagic strokes happen to people over the age of 55, the increase in stroke occurrences in younger people has medical professionals heeding warnings that strokes are not just a concern for older adults. We definitely have seen an increase in poor lifestyle choices for younger people, like unhealthy eating, doing less exercise and activity, and being overweight, Tafoya said.
Right, because what a lot of children, right, a lot of teens are doing what? Going home, playing video games. They're not active anymore.
Mhm.
They're not moving around anymore, right? That's what's going on. They're eating a bunch of cheese doodles, honey buns, Reese's, you know what I'm saying? Eating bowls of Cap'n Crunch, right? Scrolling on social media and doing nothing, right? Smoking, drinking at 13, 14, 15, right?
According to the latest information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 23% of people ages of 18 to 39 have hypertension, which doubles a person's risk for stroke. Research also shows that in a classroom of 30 youth ages 12 to 19, one person would have high blood pressure.
Yo, ages 12 to 19, one person will have high blood pressure. That's alarming.
12.
Yo, that's wild. You know, and if you look at children, you know, nowadays, and it's really no offense, but I'm just stating a fact, you see more obese kids than any other time in their lives. 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
8, 4, 3.
3, right. 6 years old. Running at the park, literally, like,
Yeah.
I've seen it. You know, parents is not getting this, giving, allowing their kids to get in certain physical activities or even training or working them out or let them go on track or play sports. Daughters and sons, right? If you're preparing your daughter to, you know, have a successful life outside of your home, you know, you want to make sure that she's engaged in some physical activity, you know, because, you know, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's gonna just help her when she gets older. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't want to send your daughter off unhealthy, you know, leaving the house. You know, I'll put it like that.
Continuing, it says, at the same time, 3 would have had elevated blood pressure, pre-hypertension. According to the CDC, youth with hypertension and pre-hypertension are much more likely to have issues continue into adulthood. Warner said that the downward trend in the health of young people has resulted in an educational shift in stroke assessments within the medical community over the past decade.
Yeah, because one of the most devastating things is, how could you focus on anything if your health is not right? Right? You can have all the money in the world, but if your health is taken away from you, you can't enjoy those riches. Right? Health is a big thing. And if children are suffering younger and younger, they're dying from strokes, getting insulin resistance, pre-diabetic, then they getting diabetes. Parents aren't caring, right? Letting them have a bunch of snacks, a bunch of sweets, a bunch of sugar. And then that's taken away from their education in the home and at school. And now they're physically incapable of doing simple things, and they're getting lazier. Right? It says it doubles. It doubles. It says, according to the latest information from the Centers disease control and prevention, about 23% of people's ages 18 to 39 have hypertension, which doubles a person's risk for stroke. You're already halfway closer to getting a stroke. But it also, children don't buy their own groceries.
Right.
So it really falls on the parents. But then you got to take that
Right.
like that, because then it's easier to buy McDonald's than it is to buy full groceries of at Whole Foods.
Right.
It's easier to buy Taco Bell. It's easy to buy Domino's. It's easy to buy the junk. It's all strategic. Right? Go ahead.
It says, before, if you were 24 and came to the emergency room thinking you were having a stroke, chances are they likely would not have considered that as an option, she said. As a whole, practitioners have changed their practice and are no longer dismissing strokes in people of younger ages. Providers, pre-hospital crews, and nursing now do an amazing job of picking up on stroke symptoms and act quickly when they see them in the patient.
And the thing about strokes is a lot of people don't understand strokes are fatal usually. Usually strokes are fatal. My pops had a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Thank the Most High that he's still around, He just started walking again. This stroke happened like 9 years ago. And now he just started walking without the cane. Strokes are fatal, man. They do things to your body. Sometimes people have strokes, they can't speak. My mother-in-law, one of her arms don't work. It's just like that. Stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, strokes are fatal. And this is an epidemic that's happening within the communities, but mainly ours too. Mainly ours. If you like rice, I'm a big rice guy. I'm Haitian. I'm a big rice guy. You could switch out the jasmine rice for some basmati rice. It tastes slightly different, but most like you all right. If you know how to, make the same yellow rices or the jean or the rice and peas, you know what I'm saying? Add the flavor and you'll be all right. The thing about rices is what ends up happening is all the nutrients end up getting out of like Uncle Ben's rice, jasmine rice. So you just have a sugar. And black rice and basmati rice, they still have the nutrients from the soil in the rice. So when you're eating it, you're still getting those nutrients, and your body's able to break it down, as opposed to just breaking down sugar.
Okay.
You're still getting something from those rices, right? But if if you kind of want to cheat the system, you go and get you some janja, the mushroom. And what the janja does to the jasmine rice is it alkalizes it, because that's how strong the mushroom is. It has properties that alkalizes the rice, and you can only find it in Haiti.
Come on. Shit. So that's the homemade.
I had to throw that one. Yeah, that's it. But go ahead, continue.
It says in recent years, COVID-19 has been added to the region's list of stroke risk factors, Werner said. Since the pandemic, doctors have seen more patients with sticky blood, where blood thickens, causing abnormal blood clots. Experts believe it happens because of inflammation in the body when it is attacked by the COVID-19 virus.
And inflammation is alarming, because a body that's inflamed is a body that's under stress. A body that's under stress is welcoming for viruses, diseases, etc. So you want to try to eliminate inflammation Like one thing that people don't know that's extremely good for you, and it really helps with inflammation, is cucumbers.
Mm.
Cucumbers is extremely good for inflammation, and on top of that, it has the most electrolytes, even more than watermelon.
Mm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, even more. Wow. Um, yeah. So cucumbers they help with inflammation. They help you stay really hydrated. Um, yeah. That's no. That's it for that article. Get me Apayak while we're here. If you can bring up the other article on diabetes. Yes, it is. Health is wealth. That's a fact.
Yes.
Cucumbers with salt, black pepper is a snack. E. coli outbreaks be messing up my flow on cucumbers. I didn't even know they had a. Thank you for saying that. I didn't know that there's E. coli outbreaks on cucumbers. Because I usually put cucumbers in my water. But if you can't, yep, boom.
All right.
Why did you talk to me?
Come on. Come on.
It's in the joint.
Come on.
You're in class. Yo, you
You
get
good?
Appreciate you, Abba. Shalom out. Hey, real quick, put a 1 in the chat if we can be heard, man, before we get into this article. That's quasi.
Come.
Yo, you all one.
Working now.
This is clearly.
Don't plug that shit back in.
That's crazy. All right. Let's read that article. Yeah.
All right. Where'd you want to scroll down to?
Right. I don't know when I see it.
Go ahead and scroll down.
Right there. And then we'll jump.
Says there has been a significant increase in obesity rates worldwide with the corresponding surge in diabetes. Diabetes causes various microvascular and macrovascular changes, often culminating in major clinical complications, one of which is stroke. Although gains have been made over the last 2 decades in reducing the burden of stroke, the recent rise in rates of diabetes threatens to reverse these advances.
There you go.
Of the several mechanistic stroke subtypes, individuals with diabetes are especially susceptible to the consequences of cerebral small vessel diseases. Hyperglycemia confers greater risk of stroke occurrence. This increased risk is often seen in individuals with diabetes and is associated with poor clinical outcomes, including higher mortality, especially following ischemic stroke. Improving stroke outcomes in individuals with diabetes requires prompt and persistent implementation of evidence-based medical therapies, as well as adoption of beneficial lifestyle practices.
Scroll down.
Jesus.
Nope, you keep going. Right there. Epidemiology.
God, it says an estimated 285 million individuals worldwide suffered diabetes during 2010.
Right? Go ahead.
And the number is projected to increase to 439 million worldwide by 2030.
That's only 5 years away.
Right. Damn. This global increase includes a 69% increase in adults with diabetes in developing countries and a corresponding 20% increase in developed countries. This dramatic increase in the prevalence of type 2 diabetes is likely attributable to the increase in the prevalence of obesity. The metabolic
So that's the thing. It stems back from what? Obesity, but I do not want to eliminate stress. Right? It's how we're taking care of our bodies. Everybody has a different body type. That's one. Food reacts differently in everybody differently. That's two.
Right.
So we have to collectively, especially if we want to be there for our children, if we have children, but even if we just want to have a overall better life, to our survival, right? It's imperative that we have some type of physical movement daily, or some type of exercise daily.
Right.
It's required from us if we want to survive and stand the test of these times, if we want to be useful when it comes to doing the Lord's work, right? We have to be doing some sort of physical activity. We have to be, making changes and adjustments to our diet. You ain't got to go super, vegetables and just. I'm not here to say what type of diet you should. I'm just saying you should have a balanced, nutrient dense diet, whatever that means for you. But it comes through a lot of experimentation, right? I would say, adequate amount of protein and fruits, and then add some vegetables in there. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's different for everybody. You may be somebody who has a hard time digesting meats, so you may have to back off on meats, but not completely. You may be somebody who works better off vegetables and fruits. So you add meat when you can, right? As long as it's balanced, right? The Lord made us to have both, right? We're omnivores, not herbivores, not carnivores. We're omnivores, meaning it's imperative that we have both.
Right.
That's why He created us in that manner. There's nobody that can negate that, and nobody that can dispute that. It's just common sense. That's how the Lord made it. Okay, go ahead.
So the metabolic syndrome is believed to affect at least 1 in 5 adults and carries a high risk of both type 2 diabetes and CVD. Diabetes can lead to various serious complications if not treated properly. These include retinopathy,
Chronic kidney disease,
limb amputation, heart disease, and stroke. Diabetes has 2 forms: type 1, insulin dependent type, and type 2, insulin insensitivity type. Type 2 diabetes is much more common, accounting for the majority, about 90% of cases.
90% of cases. And they said what? When you have diabetes, it's a high percentage that it's going to lead to strokes, and strokes are fatal. All right, go ahead.
Both the types of diabetes are associated with increased risk of CVD, but they exhibit different patterns. For example, individuals with type 1 diabetes are more likely to suffer coronary heart disease and peripheral arterial disease. On the contrary, individuals with type 2 diabetes are more likely to have obesity, peripheral arterial disease, large artery atherosclerosis, and stroke.
And I know pre-diabetes, you can reverse, diabetes and pre-diabetes and insulin resistance, but usually when diabetes, sinks its teeth in you, has a good hold of you, so to speak, it's almost impossible to reverse. It's a blood issue, and yeah, it's a blood issue, and those are hard to reverse. At that point, you have to do what you can to maintain a good health and diet and exercise to be able to have longevity when it comes to diabetes, right? You have to be more mindful of where you're shopping, where you're getting your groceries and things like that. So, well, go ahead.
In the United States, diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death, and 65% of these deaths are attributable to CVD or stroke, or to both. Epidemiologic studies have shown that diabetes is a well-established, independent, but modifiable risk factor for stroke, both ischemic and hemorrhage stroke. For example, findings from the Emerging Risk Factors Collaboration showed that the adjusted hazard ratios with diabetes were 2.27 for ischemic stroke, 1.56 for hemorrhage stroke, and 1.84 for unclassified stroke.
That's good right there. So yes, we understand that there are physicians of no value and who controls the system. Let's get Job 9:24. Almost. Yep, you gotta watch the sodium levels. Yep. Yep. I'm ready.
This is Job chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. We understand who this earth has been given unto. We're gonna get it. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Who are the judges?
Israel.
Is Israelites, right? We are the judges. The Lord, we are the Lord's judges, right? That was to have dominion upon the face of the earth and to judge the nations, right? Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Revelations 2:9.
This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
This is whom the world has been given into the hands of, right? The synagogue of Satan, right? Amalek. They control the media industry. They push porn through every facet of media they can, right? They control the banks. They control everything. Okay. That's who are the wicked, right? And they also control your what? Your pharmaceutical, your CDC, your USDA, your medical system. Okay. So they have not created a system in order for Jake to prosper in any way, in any manner, right? Educational, economically, systemically, right? In any way. So they are in charge of our medical system. So the things that they understand that they keep away from us, they aren't allowing us to what? To indulge in, like nutrition, proper nutrition, proper meditation and stress management, right? Proper exercise. They're always telling people to go do chemo. They're always telling people to go hop on this medication, hop on that medication. This medication has a side effect to that medication. That medication has a side effect to this medication. Before you know it, you're taking 20 damn medications.
Right.
And your condition still not is still there. But you're still dealing with your disease. Physicians of no value. But what? We're gonna be wanting, and we're gonna be in nakedness and in thirst, wanting, right? And guess who we're gonna have to go to? Our oppressor. And our oppressor is gonna always have his foot on our necks. He already knows that the Lord has a expected end for you. He's doing everything to get in his way to keep you from that. He's messing with your economy. We can't even allow the dollar to circulate within our communities. But as soon as we get paid, it goes into the Indian community. It goes into the Chinese community. It goes into the Amalekite community. It goes into every community but our own. Right? So there, you know, it's in their nature to basically kill us off. You know, and one of the ways that they do that is through, you know, their alchemy, through their pharmacy, through food, right, through crafty counsel. We're just shedding light on, you know, the way they do it through our health. And there's right, the Bilderberg Group and the Rockefellers. There's a ton of research that has to do with how they created the educational system for you know, the medical wise, and how they funneled that whole thing. Right? Yep, eugenics, right? What else did I say? Oh, my fault.
I read Revelation 2.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right. Let's get first. I'm going all over the place. Let's get Luke 10:19.
This is Luke chapter 10 and verse 19. Behold, I will give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you.
Right. So Yahushua said he can give us the power to do what? To tread upon serpents and scorpions, so that the enemy cannot hurt us, right? Get Sirach. We're coming back around, go on 38 and 4. And then get Matt 123.
This is Sirach chapter 38 and verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
Right. So that's why you have herbology, right? The study of herbs, right? And you have holistic medicine. You have to understand what foods do. Like, remember I was talking about the DNA and the telomeres as caps? Well, do you know what fruit family actually helps to put those caps and re-ravel your DNA back to where it's supposed to be? The berry family.
I knew it.
You have your mulberry. You have your, actually, believe it or not, grapes. You have your blueberries, your raspberries, your blackberries, the berry family. And that's something that's simple,
right,
that a lot of people don't even know about. Right? Imagine you going to your physician and they're actually communicating you and breaking things down for you, like, yo, look, this is what's going on in your body, and this is what you need to do in your diet to adjust it, so that way you align yourself back on track.
Right.
But the first thing that they do is, I have this prescription for this and that. When I had hurt my back at work, and I went to the physician, they prescribed me, I forgot what, 2 different pain meds. And I know that aspirin, they made aspirin from the plant called white willow.
Wow.
So I just ordered white willow, and my back felt, good after a certain amount of time. No. So let's get Matthew 4. Okay. The charger? It's not in? Oh, it's not this right here? It's really, it's bent. It's not in?
No, it is. The battery is low.
It's charging, right?
All right. Well, Matthew, where?
Right. 4:23.
This is Matthew chapter 4 and verse 23. And Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness.
Healing what?
And healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people.
Right. Continue.
Verse 24. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people.
All what?
All sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them.
Now go to Matthew 10 and 1.
This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
Right. So he gave his disciples, he gave us, we're his disciples too, the power to do what?
Heal all manner.
Heal all manner of sicknesses and diseases. And then what did he say? Greater what? We're going to be doing greater than he did. Look at the times that we're in. Look at the things that we're doing. Look at the miracles that's happening before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to pulling in brothers and sisters, helping change and redirect brothers and sisters, impact their lives in positive ways, right? Helping brothers and sisters heal from certain ailments and sicknesses and things that they got going on. And these times, right? That's a testament to what Yahweh Shah was saying when he's saying that we're going to be doing greater. It's charging, right? It's charging. It's a few. Right? But guess what? There's a I would say there's a caution. If you can, anything can be healed. However, if the Lord does not permit it to happen, and it can't be healed, right? It can't be healed. Sometimes the Lord, he's calling brothers and sisters, or, you just can't heal that brother or sister.
Huh.
And that's for the Lord's reasoning, right? You have these famous healers, quote unquote, or master healers that are on online on YouTube, and they only talk about all the healing that they've done. But in order for you to heal people, you have to test out.
Yep.
You have to run trials. You have to see if this worked or that worked. How come they don't post up the casualties or the deaths even?
Good point.
Right? You didn't heal everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You might have prolonged somebody, might have gave them a year or two, but they still might have died. Right? Con. Good precept, Quan. Right? So they don't ever talk about that. Right? Let's get Sirach 38 and 1.
Sirach chapter 38 and verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due to him for the uses which he may have of him. For the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king.
Now, there are some physicians out there that have done whistleblowing, right? That actually does prescribe holistic ways of healing and treatment, and they're out there. You have certain clinics that do both. So they are out there. A few, but they're still out there. And we're to trust in those physicians. We're to trust in those physicians because certain physicians do know what they're talking about, but majority who went through the schooling and is in the medical system, they're all selling you the same song and dance. But there are certain ones out there. I remember, I forgot what his name is, but remember he was talking about the jabs and how they weren't good and how certain one was leading to autism. And it was a guy, yo, forgot his name. He's an Edomite.
Mike Adams, is it?
Forgot, yo. But he was one of the first people. This is years ago. This is like Woodside days, but he's one of the first people who started talking about those jabs, and how they weren't good. You know what I'm saying? So you do have physicians out there that are honest and genuine. Okay, then. All praises, Makaya. I see you out here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. All praises.
All praises. And we need more sisters and brothers. You know, if you have an unction or a passion for that, then you know we definitely could use more master healers and people who practice alternative medicine. You know, especially in these times, right? Um, get First Timothy 4:3.
First Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. Forbidding to marry, commanding to abstain from meats.
Real quick, let me just say something about forbidden to marry. So, just real quick, um, you know, within our culture, you have the practice of polygyny, and believe it or not, I have this book. My sister, you know, what I'm saying, she put me onto it. Saying my sister Ida put me and my rib onto it, and it goes into the history of how actually over 80%, I gotta say the percentage again, of the whole world was practicing polygyny. That was a normal thing. So actually monogamy wasn't the norm.
Wow.
So I just, I want that to settle in people's heads real fast. You know what I mean? And then I remember I was talking to the general. We was, going back and forth on exchanging wisdom and information. And he had found out, well, he had investigated that Reuben, when they was on certain plantations, they had multiple ribs in different plantations. This is something that we've been practicing. It's something that was normal. And the author actually breaks down how beneficial it is for and constructive it is for family unit, outside of what people want to wrestle with polygyny is all about, but how it benefits everybody who's in polygyny. You know what I'm saying? From the students to the ribs to the man. You know, how it's good for communication, how it's good for economic structure, how it's good for family structure and dynamic, so on and so forth. And so when it says forbidden to marry, they actually broke that's something that they broke within our culture, because nowadays, what do we look at marriage through? We tend to look at marriage through the lens of our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And not the lens of how we used to look at marriage. You know what I'm saying? Within our culture. When it says forbidden to marry, you know, that's a real thing that's caused, a big problem within our nation, right? Because essentially we're following after our oppressor, and because he did that, you have brothels, you have prostitution, you have that book is a good book, but it just talks about all the effects that happen because you are taking what's natural in certain cultures and what's natural in men. You're taking that away from them, and so the side effects is single mother households, it's prostitution and brothels, it's increasing in harlotry, you know what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. So I just want to bring that to everybody's attention before we redirect back into the meat of the matter. Go ahead.
First Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats.
That's like, if this right here does not make you think about the doctrine that everybody is saying now, that's a direct fulfillment of prophecy. What you see in the last 10 years is the push of veganism, the push of what do they call that now? Fruitarian?
Yep.
fruitarian, abstaining from meats. I'm not attacking. This is just the fact.
But like people are pushing more forward. Not that it's wrong, but like the Mediterranean diet, because the other meats are more tainted and not really good for your health.
Right. So that's, and yet again, that's not balanced. Right? Diet is a tricky thing. Right? Get Sirach 37 and 30.
This is Sirach chapter 37 and verse 30. For excess of meats bringeth sickness.
So there it is too. Haven't we been hearing about? You brought it out, I brought it out, other brothers brought it out. Haven't we been hearing about a high protein diet or nothing but meats? We have. Right? Excess meats leads to what?
Sickness.
Read it. Go ahead, read it.
For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into colic.
Right. And so what is that? What is surfeiting? Surfeiting is a gluttonous spirit, which leads to colic, which is irritable. It's irritable bowel syndrome, irritability when it comes to digesting. And that's what makes you sick.
That's
so now, on one hand, you're telling people to abstain from meats and herbs and makes you weak and malnourished. Then on the other hand, you're telling people to have nothing but a protein diet, meat diet. No. It's the balance, right? It's about balance. What was you gonna say?
That's you said IBS. Is that's sensitive stomach lining where you can't eat too much meat because it's hard to start? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But right, everybody's different when it comes to that intake, right?
Right. Okay.
I'm saying, I'm not gonna get that. All right, I'll play that. Just a little bit of that.
Keto. It's another one.
Keto's not too, but play the video with the lady. Play the video with the lady. I'll just put these in the chat. The video with the lady. You start at 7 minutes.
Oh, I love this podcast.
Yo, his voice, the accent be killing me though.
Yeah, he's in the UK.
The party, like that accent is draughty, like that be killing me. I'm sorry.
This is the Fair Use and Copyright Act. Copyright law states that fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright.
Yeah, you can start at 7 minutes. Oops, I'll put that in the wrong chat.
Absolutely heal itself. So for me, fasting became this incredible tool that everybody could do. And we just had to learn how to do it. The women that I'm watching that are just dropping, I mean, men and women, hundreds of pounds and medications they're getting off of and mental health that's coming back just because I taught them how to compress their eating window and leave a longer time for rest so their body can repair. That is all each individual is doing that. I didn't do that.
I'm the type of person that very much needs like stats.
So what they're
I'm one of those
about is
people.
fasting.
And once I've got the stats or some kind of like scientific evidence, then I'm all in.
Beautiful.
What do I need to know from a scientific standpoint? What research has been done on fasting?
Okay, so let's go through the basic principle of fasting, and I think this will help everybody. Is that you have two metabolisms. So you burn energy when you eat, and you burn energy when you don't eat. but they're two different mechanisms. So when you eat, like, let's use myself as an example. I had eggs and some avocado for like around 11 o'clock today. So that's going to bring my blood sugar up. Now, as my blood sugar starts to drop, what's going to happen is my body's going to switch over into this other energy system. And I call this the fat burning energy system. I call this one the sugar burner energy system. When it switches over into this fat burning energy system, it starts to make a byproduct called a ketone. And that ketone will go up into the brain and it starts to repair your brain. And what most people don't realize is your brain needs 50% ketones, 50% glucose. So you're giving a fuel source to your brain that it desperately needs, which is why people, when they fast, are like, their mental clarity goes up, their cognition improves, their brain fog goes away. Because
So a lot of people, they don't fast. And it's important to practice fasting because it has tremendous amount of benefits for it, right? And she's what she's alluding to is a lot of times because people are constantly eating, right? Whether it be snacking, whether it be a breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and snacking in between, they don't allow their bodies to use the stem cells that it has in it, or to burn up fats that it has in it, which Makaya was saying, sometimes your toxins get stored in your fat, which is true. Well, what ends up happening is if you're fasting, your body starts to look inward. And they say, okay, no food's coming in. Word. So let us start to sweep and clean ourselves. Right. So they start going after the toxins in the body, the viruses in the body, right? If you go a certain amount of hours, human growth hormone starts to go up in the body, which is good because it increases your testosterone. And then you're not running off of sugar because you're not ingesting anything. So what ends up happening is because you're burning fats, your brain starts to be clear. Your thought starts to be clearer. You know, that's what she's explaining. Go ahead.
Because you're literally giving a fuel source to your brain that it may never have been given before. It takes about somewhere between 8 hours to metabolically switch over into this fat burning place.
Okay. So if I'm doing a podcast and I want to be sharp,
yes,
I shouldn't eat 8 hours before.
Yes.
Fuck. Could you come back in 7 hours?
7 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I should have given you the memo before we got here. Yeah, so I think of it like a hybrid car. You know, you switch over into this fat burning place. So at 8 hours, you start to make the switch. By about 12 hours, your body's now starting to make a good dose of ketones. The brain is excited. So you're getting that mental clarity. Ketones turn off the hunger hormone. Mm-hmm. So you also, when you switch over, there's going to be a point in which you're not hungry. And that all happens at about 12 hours. But you're also, if you stay there a little longer, if you stay there and you go 14 hours, 15 hours. So check this out. Research shows at 15 hours, we see growth hormone go up. Okay, growth hormone is the hormone that keeps you young and helps you burn fat. We also see in men 1,300% increase in testosterone just from somewhere between a 13 to 15 hour fast. 13% increase in natural testosterone stores. And we can explain why that happens in a moment. And then we start to see inflammation go down. So all of a sudden, if you have people who have like joints that are hurting, they start doing 15 hours of fasting every day. And they're like, God, you know, my joints just don't have that same stiffness in them anymore. But if you stay in that fasted window, you keep going 17 hours, your brilliant body turns within and it goes, wait a second, no food's coming in. We better get stronger. So it literally takes the bad cells, the cells that are slowing you down, the cells that are turning into cancer, and it gets rid of those. They're called senescent cells. And it literally recycles them out of your system, and it goes into the cells that are still usable, and it makes them stronger. It fixes the intercellular parts. We call that autophagy. And that actually was if you want stats, the Nobel Prize in 2015 by a Japanese scientist, Dr. Osumi. He won the Nobel Prize in medicine and physiology for this term called autophagy. And that's when you go without food, your cells will heal themselves. That was back in 2015.
So I want to go into all of that. I want to start with why. Why does fasting help so much? And really, like, what I'm getting at there is, if this,
I sent the link for that in the current events chat, so everybody has access to that. Apayat, she's talking about fasting, so I just want to pull up this article on fasting.
Oh.
And I just want to say, fasting is extremely important. You know, in this time, there's a lot of things going on. You know, stress. Many people have different ways of coping with stress. We should be getting up together more, right? Where, you know, two or more are gathered, there Yahweh Shai is in the midst. You know what I'm saying? Brotherhood is essential, you know what I'm saying, to help us on our journey, on our walk. And so I'm saying that because, you know, if you're able to think about how what the body does for you to satisfy its cravings, right? We have life forces. If you hold your breath, eventually your brain and your lungs is gonna tell you, yo, if you do not open your mouth or your nostrils to breathe in that oxygen,
I will shut you down.
right? Same thing with your stomach. If you go without a food for a certain amount of time, your body needs food to sustain proper nourishment, right, and provide you with a source of energy. Right? Same thing with sex, right? Or intimacy, intercourse. You need that to continue to procreate, right? To life force. So all these forces, water, right? Denying yourself. So if you're able to deny yourself of the life forces, you know, just imagine how much control you'll have when it comes to other things, right? Because eventually we are to master ourselves, and part of mastering ourselves, right, is us being able to control or have control over our instincts. What makes an animal is they don't have control over their instincts. What separates you is that you have control, the ability to think intellectually, the ability to control your emotions, etc. So,
right there.
so you know, how many people have fasted recently, right? Whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're struggling with, one important thing to do, right? Because you know, one of the generals, Panah, he went over the secret sin. Well, what's one way you can help, you know, get rid of your secret sin? Sometimes you have to starve out that sin. You have to starve it out, right? And so the reason why I'm saying that is because we've all heard of, you know, food fast, but how many people have fasted from intimacy to help deal with their lust issues? Right? How many people have fasted from social media. Right? So we have to start being intentional with these fasts. And we have to start learning how to starve out, right? These demons that we deal with. But if you can build up yourself to deny yourself a plate, to deny yourself water, right? To deny yourself intimacy, it makes you much stronger of a man or a woman, because that means you have control over yourself. And if you can control yourself when it comes to those things, just imagine how much powerful you will be. Right? So I just want to say that before we read this last article.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody has any comments or questions on what I said just now. If not, you could pull up that article, Apayat, the one with the fasting. Yep.
The stages of fasting, what happens to your body when you fast. While fasting is nothing new, it is experiencing a resurgence in popularity as many discover its potential health benefits. If you are planning your first fast or looking for ways to improve your next one, there are a few things you should do to prepare. The first step is learning about the different stages of fasting. This knowledge helps you mentally and physically prepare for what's to happen to your body when you fast. The stages of fasting outlined below are based off a water fast, a traditional fast in which you abstain from any food and only drink water for 12 to 48 hours or longer. Personal experiences can vary depending on the type of fast, age, or health of the individual, but these should give you a general idea of what to expect when you fast. Stage 1, day 1 to 2. Stage 1 lasts for the first couple of days of the fast or about 12 to 48 hours from your last meal. Usually it is a good idea to put some planning and preparation into how and when you will start a fast. Try selecting a day and time and then make preparations in your schedule for the duration of your fast. This stage is when your body transitions into fasting mode, and for many people, it's the most challenging part of the fast. This stage is where you start to feel the hunger pangs as you skip your regular mealtime routine. For most first-time fasters, most start to feel a reduction in their energy levels. These effects can induce a negative mood or irritability for most fasters. It's wise to prepare yourself for the possibility of being short on patience during this stage. Several things happen at a cellular level that cause hunger and fatigue during this first stage. When you're eating regularly, your body breaks down glucose to get the energy it needs to function properly. While you're fasting, your body needs to produce sugar for energy, so it begins a process called gluconeogenesis. During gluconeogenesis, your liver converts non-carbohydrate materials like lactate, amino acids, and fats into glucose. As your body goes into battery save mode, your basal metabolic rate, or BMR.
It's what she said. She said, and then I reiterated it when I broke it down in my own words. Go ahead. Next one.
Benefits mental strength and heart health. Fasting these first few days can be difficult, but there are mental and physical benefits. Mentally, the act of fasting is an excellent way to exercise. You got to scroll down. Is an excellent way to exercise your willpower. Similar to the strength runners might feel after pushing their body to run that extra mile, people who choose to fast can feel strength as they fight through those natural urges to eat. Physically, there are incredible cleansing and heart health benefits taking place too. As BMR lovers, fat in the blood starts to disappear as it's metabolized for energy. This process promotes a healthy heart and for some improves cholesterol levels by boosting HDL levels.
Right. The last one you gotta read is stage 2.
I
put it in the current events chat.
Stage 2 starts around the end of day 2, lasts until day 7. A lot of changes begin to happen at this stage, and you may start to notice changes in your physical appearance as well as how you feel. Right. By stage 2, ketosis has begun. Ketosis is a critical phase of the fast where your body starts to burn stored fat as its primary power source. As the process of ketosis are carried out inside your body, you might stop feeling hungry and tired. The practice of putting your body into ketosis has a growing movement behind it. It is ideal for weight loss, balancing blood sugar, and more. Best of all, you don't even have to fast to put your body into ketosis. Eating the right foods at the right time can be enough to start this fat burning process.
You're good. So, I brought this lesson out, as an observation because our people are struggling with diet, with nutrition, and we're not understanding that just to survive, we're to be moving more, we're to be exercising more, training more, and making adjustments to our diet, so that way we can be of use. You know what I'm saying? We can still be here for one another. We could be of use to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And we can have a better way of living. You know what I'm saying? It's in support of our well-being, because it'd be devastating, if we're a family. It'll be devastating to know that we're losing people because a negligence, or they don't know how to go about changing their daily habits. You know what I'm saying? As far as nutrition and exercising and stress management goes, when it's things that we can start practicing now, because times ahead is only going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? And it's imperative that we do practice these things. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything, any comments before we close. You got to speak up.
Just adding my personal bit to it. I've been in touch with Shy about it. I've been battling stomach issues ever since high school. But as of recently, my stomach has been giving me really, really bad time. So I had to go to the ER actually. Got blood, take samples and stuff like that. Do a CAT scan. Everything came out good, but it pretty much it was just like to stress good probiotics. There's stuff that you can put into your body that helps break down the bad stuff. You got to take it good with the bad and what you're eating,
right?
No matter what. But I was fasting, and I came off fast. I was going right into a high fiber, so it wasn't necessarily processing, and I wasn't getting as much nutrients as my body was doing. So my body started not absorbing nutrients, just pretty much going at a standstill because they don't know whether to fast or to process hard. Because fiber is very tough to get out your body.
Right.
So it was causing me a lot of pain, and it was sending triggers all throughout my body, which freaked me out. So long story short, it was just I had to intake my fruit, I didn't take my water, had to make sure I was actually getting 8 hours of sleep. Sleep was a big part of it as well. Stress.
Stress is key.
So I just want to say, be mindful of how you're fasting and how you come out of that fast as well.
You said they're in the news chat app?
Yeah, I put all the links in the current events chat for everybody.
All of us in the current events chat. All praises. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. So hopefully everybody been, edified somewhat. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got.
Real quick, just with the fast, right? Is it let's see, might be a technical question, right? If you're doing a 24-hour fast, is it technically after you eat your last meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fast doesn't start until maybe 6 hours after. So if you're doing 24 hours, you adjust maybe to 30. You know what I'm saying? The body needs time to break down that food that you gave it last for the clear system off. It's a technical thing in a sense. So if I'm thinking about doing the 24-hour fast, I should be minded for 30 hours. Or
Nah,
you know
because
I'm
what they
saying?
say, especially nutritionists and doctors, just the last moment you eat.
Right, but if your body isn't in a fasting state at that point because it's still
Because they have to digest the food yet.
Right, so I'm saying should be mindful of that to get the full benefit. Like, should I consider 24 hours? Should I do like 28, 30? Give my body that time to clear.
Nah, it's when you're
because you're gonna go right into ketosis. Right after that? No, like if you're really saying like you don't, like, there was a part where you don't have to fast up until like 3 days to get to that point.
Yeah.
If you do it to that point, your body
it's at 8 hours. So the sleep that you're getting
is the fast.
is when your body's supposed to be breaking. With nobody, I don't know who sleeps for 8 hours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
He just said he did.
yeah, but that sleep period is when your body transfers over from sugar to fat burning. So that it's a process. You fast, you start fasting the last moment you put food in your mouth. If you don't put nothing else in after that, your body's fasting until you eat again.
Even if you don't want to fast, body fast. How is your body fasting if it's breaking down food still? If it hasn't even, your body don't even begin breaking down food like right when you're eating. Depending on what kind of metabolism.
Nah, it does.
You got a crazy metabolism.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
It does because the digestive system starts in your mouth. You're literally breaking down food, and then it goes down your esophagus and the stomach, and then it breaks down, and then it's sessy. So literally, it's breaking down as you're eating.
Yeah, but they ain't broken down. It's breaking down.
If you go to a specialist that's with digestion, they'll tell you that the process of food breaking down is when you're actually eating it. That's why I don't know anybody who does this neither, but you're supposed to chew your food till it's liquid.
That's breaking down. That's not digestion, though.
But that starts the digestion process in your, because if I'm getting scientific, then your what's that called? It releases enzymes for you to start breaking down. Because what is happening in your stomach? The same things happen, but just on a much more advanced level. You know what I'm saying? You have certain acids in your stomach that's further breaking down. And then when it goes into the large intestine, that's when it starts to extract nutrients. So the whole time it's in the digestion process. It's breaking down until it starts to extract nutrients, which is in the large intestine. Then the small intestine, when it gets to the large intestine, that's when it's just waste. So
Sean, to your question, Quan put in the chat, how you come out of a fast is very important because coming out the wrong way can make you sick.
That's the fact.
You shouldn't to your point, because for the full 24 hours, even if you want to eat small, you should, as opposed to the prior or the last meal that you ate, because your stomach shrinks from the fast.
No, you want to do something like soup or something like that.
Right. Broths are really good to end your fast with. Does that make sense?
So I understand. I was just thinking about like your body in that period of it being empty from food, but you can always have that reserve anyway, right? So, but I understand what you're saying. Like the breaking out process, you start from eating it.
Nah, sometimes your body will hold food for not just days, weeks. Yo, when I went on a 40-day fast, in like the third week, I was using the bathroom. I'm not eating nothing. I'm just drinking juice. You know what I'm saying? So your body will hold on to, they say you have like 10 to 20 pounds, some people, of poop inside of your gut.
Right.
So you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm thinking about doing a creation series, but I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? Might be for the nerds. You know what I mean? Because creation is very, very, very deep. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that could be broken down. You know what I'm saying, that I've been going over, but we'll see. You know what I'm saying? But I was throwing that out there.
Okay.
You know, because there's a lot of things that the scriptures talks about, Orion, and talks about particles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And the more you explore the Most High, the more you understand, you know, the Creator and who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, once you understand His omnipotency, you like your faith grows in Him. You know, because as mankind, what we tend to do is, no, it's a human thing to do, but we put limits on Him sometimes because of what we go through, or at least some of us. I'm not gonna speak for everybody. Yeah. No. But yeah, I'm done.
Ahmad Mapani Makwadam. This is Psalm chapter 119. Dayan. Remember the word unto thy servant which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort and my affliction, for thy word hath quickened me. The proud have had me greatly in derision, yet have I not declined from thy law. I remember thy judgments of old, O Lord, and have comforted myself. Horror hath taken hold upon me because of the wicked that forsake thy law. Thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my pilgrimage. I have remembered thy name, O Lord, in the night, and have kept thy law. This I had because I kept thy precepts. In the name of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, the water from Yad, Aman.
Amen.
Ahmad Shabbat. Ahmad Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak.
Yeah, Bashim, Yahshua, Barak.